So all the Brahmanas in there, they are expressing their fortune of having Chaitanya, so not Chaitanya, come to East Bengal, Bangladesh. So it is Brahmanas of the Bangladesh. They were very, very happy to have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They paid obeisances and they are expressing that we don't have to go anywhere for the purpose of studying. People go to Navadipa, but the knowledge personified himself has appeared in among them, or you can say in their place. You're not able to hear? Haribol? Able to
Mataji,
hear?
we are able to hear.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
देखिते दिनेतिन अवस्था यहर को न लाजे अपनारे गायो गाओ या यसी छार. How can an insignificant person who daily goes through 3 states shamelessly induce others to chant his glories? So in the previous verse we saw that there are cheaters who for filling their bellies also chant and act to be a devotee. And some sinful people, they give up chanting the holy name of Lord and they claim themselves to be Narayana. Yesterday we had the chanting session. All the devotees were sitting and chanting. So the important chanting process is very important process. So here, how can an insignificant person who daily goes through 3 states shamelessly induce others to chant his glories? So here, let us see the teen avastha or the 3 states of the person of gross, subtle, and caution. That is wakefulness, dream, and sleep state, or past, present, and future. These states are prone to be agitated by material nature and time. We cannot understand how an impersonalist self-worshipper establishes himself as the Lord in the dress of a guru. Because we can see that within a single day, a healthy living person falls sick. From sickness, he regains health, and after regaining health, again he falls sick. Or according to others, the living entities who are conditioned by the 3 modes and under the control of nature become overwhelmed by 3 different influences, states, or designations of nature, like gross, subtle, caution, or wakefulness, dream, and sleep, deep sleep. How can such extremely shameless living entities who are controlled by Maya and subjected to these 3 states declare themselves to be the Lord or a worshipable object and controller of Maya? For a living entity qualified for being forced to undergo 3 different states in one day to claim to be Lord who controls Maya and is transcendental to the 3 modes of living nature is simply ludicrous. So 3 avasthas has been spoken. What are the 3 avasthas? That is, sometimes he is very healthy, sometimes he's sick, and sometimes he is again healthy, again sick. It goes on. And here 3 avasthas has been spoken as gross, subtle, and causal. So gross body, there's a subtle body, causal body, that is wakefulness, dream, sleep, deep sleep. This casually is, sometimes he's awake, seems to be awake, but he's not awake. Sometimes he's dreaming, sometimes he's in deep sleep. And casual also refers to one who has his past, who has present, who has future. So the body undergoes different conditions. In the past, we were surrounded by different conditions. Our past, in our childhood, in our youth, we had different surroundings, different type of people to interact with. And then in the present, we have again a different atmosphere. And in the future, we don't know who is going to, or to with whom are we going to interact. That means there is always a change of paraphernalia for a living entity. How can he claim himself to be God, who is always eternal? who is unchangeable. Our body undergoes so many changes. We are born, we grow, we get a body which is born, which grows, and it becomes slowly starts dwindling and becomes old. We have byproducts also. So in this way, there are changes, so many changes happening. So how can we compare ourselves to Supreme Lord, who is never changing? He is Purnam, is always Purnam. Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnameva Purnameva Vishishyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. So he is always Purnam. So a living entity, he cannot compare himself to God. Whoever does this, he is actually a shameless person. Just because some siddhis he acquired because of a lot of tapasya, some people are expert in removing lingas, some people are expert in removing vibhuti. And there are foolish people who think that they are God. Some people have the capacity to cure others. There is also one type of siddhi. Just by song, they can cure others. Just by singing, they can bring rain. So these are all the siddhis which has been got from whom? From the Supreme Lord himself. So just because a living entity has got some siddhis, he cannot proclaim himself to be God. Radhiyara eka maha brahma daityache antare rakshasa vipratacha matra kache Radhe. So there is a powerful Brahma Daitya in Radhadesh. Although he externally dresses like a Brahmana, internally he is a demon. So this also we have to understand. There may be some people who may claim themselves God. There are some people who may call themselves Brahmana. So even Ravana also was a Brahmana only. But he was also studying scriptures. But then what is the use? He had so much of enviousness towards Lord. So such type of enviousness, why such enviousness is there? Because they don't know the essence of Shastras. When a person doesn't know essence of Shastras, the essence is one has to know Krishna. Vedeshta sarve rahame vivetyo vedanta krut veda videvachaha. When a person doesn't understand the essence of scriptures, he may be very expert in mantra, tantra, but what is the use? He's a demon because he's not accepting the supremacy of the Lord. The areas on the western bank of Ganga are known as Rashtra-desha or Radha-desh. It's also very important to know. East Bengal, those times were known as Bangladesh. Now it is Bangladesh. Western side was known as Rashtra-desh or Radha-desh. There are many villages within Radha-desh, but the names of those villages are not mentioned at this point. If a Brahmana becomes a ghost after death, he becomes a Brahma Daitya or Brahma Rakshasa. A Brahmana who follows his prescribed duties generally advances to higher planets. But those who neglect their duties and engage in sinful activities and thus meet an unnatural death become Brahma Rakshasa, Brahma Daityas. So-called Brahmanas who are envious, offensive, blasphemous of Vaishnavas, who though breathing are lifeless and who are situated in simple life are also known as Brahma Daityas. The real pure Brahmanas are totally partial and subordinate to Vaishnava principle. Since so-called Brahmanas who are envious of Vaishnavas become ghosts in this very life, they are presently being addressed as Brahma Daityas. One such Brahma Daitya from Radhadesh externally exhibited Brahminical behavior, yet internally maintained envy towards the Vaishnavas. And as a result, he became an envious demon. When a Brahmana engages in the demonic activities of envying Vaishnavas, then he is called a Brahma Rakshasa. Although demons are expert in envying cows, demigods, and Vaishnavas, they become puffed up with false ego due to their birth in seminal Brahmana families. The performance of Brahminical activities and acceptance of external Brahminical dress by persons who internally maintain demoniac propensities in this way is simply artificial duplicity that ruins people. So categories of Brahma Rakshasas are given. One who has enviousness towards Vaishnavas, one who blasphemes a Vaishnava, one who is performing sinful activity. They, though born in Brahmana family, are categorized as Brahma Daityas. Because of their enviousness, they become Rakshasas. And sometimes if they meet untimely death, then they have to have a ghostly body, Brahma Rakshasa body. If you see the life history of Shripad Madhvacharya, is so powerful. Day after tomorrow is his appearance day. We are going to celebrate the appearance day of Shripad Madhvacharya at our Jagannath Devasthana. So there, one of the pastime, he's just born. After 12 days, they take to, after a month, they take the child to the 45 days, they take the child to the temple. So from Pajaka Kshetra, both Madhyageya Bhatt and Vedavati, along with their family members, took the child to Udupi Ananteshwara temple. That time it was only Ananteshwara temple was there. Udupi Krishna Math came only after Madhvacharya getting the deities of Krishna. So they came to Ananteshwara temple, took darshan, and they were returning back to Pajaka Kshetra. It was night. Generally, it is said once the sun sets, the child should not be taken out. But what they can do? They had to come back. At that time, when Brahma Rakshasa enters the body of one of the family member, whoever had come, one of the person, and that person was like suffering and yelling and shouting. Those who were there, Madhyageya Bhatt, Vedavati, they were all scared because the child is also there with them. And in that shout, he says, I want to touch the lotus feet of this child. They were more scared. How can they allow a person who is haunted to come near the child? But he was so adamant. People caught him, but still he was so adamant. I want to touch. The moment he touched, somehow he dragged himself, touched the feet of Shripad Madhvacharya. Immediately, the man fainted, and they could see a white light going towards heavenly planet. So the person was the ghost was liberated because of Shripad Madhvacharya. It is said Shripad Madhvacharya is so powerful, Mukhya Prana. He can cure all our sinful tendencies. Because of sinful tendencies, such type of sufferings are there. A demonic suffering, maybe a demonic specie or Brahma Rakshasa. So a person should take blessings of Madhvacharya. ISKCON comes under Shripad Madhvacharya's cult. We are Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So now here, Se Papishta Apanare Bolaya Gopala Ataivatare Sabe Balena Siala. So such type of people, though born in Brahmana family, now there are categories spoken. In the previous, what was there? People calling themselves as God. And born in Brahmana family, but not using the Brahmanical birth, not taking advantage of it. Now what they are doing, such simple people, they advertise themselves as Gopala. And people therefore called him Ajikal. So that person, that simple person who was born in Radha Desh, he was calling himself Gopal. But there are wise people, they know that such type of people are who they are having a Jekyll tendency. Why Jekyll is told? Because Jekyll is very expert in stealing lion's share. So Narasimha, he is a supreme Lord, Lord Krishna, whose fearful form is Narasimha. So Lord Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, he has lion's share. He is the lion. And if that share is taken by somebody else, then he's generally known as a Jekyll. Siyala means Jekyll. So they refer to those people of Bengal who are generally afraid and who are prone to run away, who are thieves, who are miscreants, or who speak harsh words. So these are all the characteristics of a Jekyll. Jekyll steals. Why? He's afraid of lion. Jekyll is a miscreant. That means these miscreants come in the category of Jekyll. Miscreants means sinful people. They are thieves. They speak harsh words. Although the sinful, hellish, Mayavadi, Brahma Rakshasa of Radhadesh introduced himself as Gopal to everyone, the devotees, rather than calling him Gopal, called him a false logician. Mayavadi Jekyll, those who cultivate material knowledge take birth as Jekylls in their next lives. Because they are stealing the property of Krishna. They don't consider themselves a servant of Krishna. Who steals? Who has no fear for his master? That person only steals. So these simple people, they steal. They are trying to steal the position of Lord, calling themselves as God. So here Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, within 100 years after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, some foolish atheists rejected their gurus, advertised themselves as incarnations of the Supreme Lord. They are known as Gauranagaris. If you go near them, you will feel, oh, they are all exalted devotees. They will also sing. But their philosophy is completely different. They consider Caitanya Mahaprabhu to be enjoyer and they to be enjoyed. And in this way, free mixing goes on. In fact, Caitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani as being enjoyed, not the enjoyer. So these are all the wrong things which are happening. In this regard, the Gaura Gana Chandrika, which is said to be written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, says, seeing that others have accepted the Supreme Lord, Sri Gauranga, as the Lord of the universe, some foolish people of Radhadesh, Bengal, who were devoid of spiritual knowledge, wandered about, dressed as a Supreme Lord, attempting to convince other fools of their supremacy. Among them, impostors was a Brahmana called Vasudeva, who out of madness declared, I am Gopal, the son of Hansa Baba. That is why the people of Radhadesh called him Shigala or Jekyll instead of Gopal. So such type of people, even if you see in Navdeep, in Vrindavan, you'll find such type of people who proclaim themselves to be incarnation of Caitanya. They will be dancing in Ras. So all these things are happening. Wrong things are happening so much. There are young girls from Delhi and other places. They influence them. They make them join. And there are so many even Matajis who have left their home and they have joined just because they cheat them. They say you experience the highest bliss. But in that name, what they do, a lot of atrocities and wrong things are happening. So many wrong things are happening. If a person is devoid of knowledge, what will happen? People, they are prone to be cheated by such people. Another person, Vishnudas, he said, I am Lord Ramchandra, son of Raghu dynasty. I have descended from Vaikuntha along with monkeys. Hanuman is my devotee. Due to such offensive statements, he was rejected by the people of Radhadesh and was addressed as a leader of monkeys. So people of Radhadesh, they were experts, they were knowledgeable. They knew that such type of cheaters are there. In order to deliver the people of earth, I, Lord Narayana, have appeared from abode of Vaikuntha, boasting in this way and putting a crown on his head. An ill-motivated Brahmana of Bengal, his name was Madhav. He also advertised himself to be Lord in order to get some cheap adoration. Hence, the people of Bengal address Madhav as Chadadari. Chadadari means one who wears, Chudadhari, one who wears a crown. This Madhav was very lusty priest of Shudras. He used to imitate the fast dance of Sri Krishna. See, just now what I was telling you. These people, they dance. Actually, nowadays, even in our temple also, on the name of Kirtan Mela, wrong things are happening. Class was given by Kamalujan Prabhuji in Bhinder. Was completely opposing this type of dance, this type of Kirtan Mela. Many of the Maharajas also opposed. But again, what to do? There were some people who were adamant to have Kirtan Mela. In this Kirtan Mela also, so much of free mixing of the girls and the boys are going on. We have to be very careful. The Harinam is not so cheap and not so easy also. We should be fortunate that we are chanting the holy name. And we have to be very careful also while chanting the holy name. If we are talking in between the holy name, understand we have to again do the same round. It cannot be counted in our 64 rounds or 16 rounds or whatever prescribed rounds. If we have spoken in between, then don't count that rounds in your prescribed round. Like yesterday, there was 64 round chanting was going on. And I was seeing there were some Matajis who were talking. In between, they were talking. When you talk, that means, okay, out of some circumstances, you had to talk. Then don't count it in that round. Simple. Do it again. Again do. So we should be very careful while we are chanting. Chanting, just chant. Talking, talk. If you have spoken while you're chanting, do it again. That means you finish that round, but don't count it in your prescribed rounds, even in the 16 rounds also. So this will give us more sincerity towards the holy name. And we should encourage our children also to take part in the holy name. I was expecting yesterday, even our younger girls will come to chant. And none of them came. Actually, parents should bring their children. Now they are grown up. They are no more children. They are young girls. They should come and chant. If they don't do this, they will be prone to such cheating people. On the name of spirituality, there are so many things happening, even in ISKCON. So don't think that, oh, I am going to ISKCON temple. There are people who are garbed as devotees and they may have different tendencies. Till we are not careful in chanting, our own children will get cheated. So we should be very careful in bringing up our children also. Chanting is the only thing which is going to secure us. And having Vaishnava Sangha. Oh, my child is chanting at home. You are not giving them Vaishnava Sangha, association of Vaishnavas, bringing them to temple. It's very important. Or just phones are enough to spoil them. You don't know what your children are doing behind. The more they come to temple, the more they have association of the devotees, the more they hear, there will be transformation in them. Every time there is an excuse, there is an exam, there is an exam. Every time it will be there. All the time there will be exam. Because nowadays the current educational structure is every week there will be an exam. So this exam should not be an excuse. Because the cheaters are increasing in the market. Let our child or our daughter or sons not become prey to them. because our life is gone now. Another 20, maybe 10, 15 years or 20 years, so whatever it may be. Because of our parents' care, our those times, our education system also was good. We only had 4 examinations, not so much of pressure. Schools were nice. Schools used to not allow free mixing of the girls and boys, especially we were not having phones in our hand. So, our life was secured, at least a bit secured. But our children are prone to all medias, and you don't know what they are doing behind. Before you, they may show that they are all very wonderful. They may sit to chant also before you. You don't know. You may think, because nowadays parents also don't have time for the children. All are working mothers, working father. Hardly they get time with their children. I don't know how many of you have really sat with the children and taught them. So we should be very careful. At least one thing will secure them. That is bringing them to temple, making them hear, making them chant, having the association, having a proper authority for you. So this is all a very careful thing. My whole concern always is not for the devotees who are initiated, not for the devotees who are sincere. I am now concerned only for the next generation. All the parents now, they have the children ranging from 12 years to 13 years, 16 years, 17 years. The children hardly they are coming to the temple. When they were very small, they were brought by, अरे घर में तंग करते जाके बैठ जाओ. But now when they are grown up, they should be given more education. In fact, they should start preaching now. If they preach, they will study. When they will study, naturally they will, now when they have to preach, then they have the responsibility. They should study. This is a very important aspect. Or depression. Another case is depression. Because of overload of education, lot of depression happens to the children. Give them the task to preach, because while preaching, they will study. While they study the scriptures, automatically their mind is balanced. There is no pride that my daughter is an engineer or a doctor. There's no pride in that. Many of them have become. The pride lies in is my daughter or son is in the preaching task. He is preaching at least to one person, at least 2%. That is very important, because their upbringing is going to influence the further generation. If they are only not brought to temple, do you think they will bring their children to temple? So it is said here, there are cheaters, they will be cheated, and they are cheaters, they cheat innocent people. So it is said here, therefore he was imitating the Ras dance pastimes of Sri Krishna. It is heard that this Brahmana was rejected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. Therefore, one should not associate with such persons. If one does so, his religiosity will be destroyed, because it is stated in the scriptures as a drop of oil spreads all over the water. If one converses with, is touched by the breath of, or eats with such a sinful person, then the very sin of that person will be spread to him. The Bhakti Ratnakar, it is stated, someone said, oh brothers, the materialists who have turned their faces from Lord Krishna are very independent and transgress religious principles. The leaders of materialists has taken the position of Raghunath in order to cheat people in general. This misbehaved sinner has invented his own philosophy and claiming to be the king of poets. He preaches in Bangladesh. Another person said, I saw some great sinners induce others to glorify them rather than glorify Lord Krishna. Another person said, there is a degraded person, Brahmana Lord Malik in Bangladesh. No one is as wicked as him. The great sinner called himself Gopal. Speaking an illusory philosophy worthy of the Rakshasas, he tricks people in general. In Radhadesh, in the village called Kandhar, is the auspicious and glorious home of Janadas. A Kayastha named Jai Gopal also lives in that place. That person became evil-minded due to pride of learning. He arrogantly declared that his guru had no knowledge, and whenever someone inquired from him, he claimed that his Paramaguru was his guru. Veerchandra Prabhu tactfully disclosed his position, then rejected him. In this regard, one should refer to Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 66th chapter, and the Vishnu Puran, wherein he is described the Dwapar Yuga pastime of Krishna killing Pundarika Vasudeva, the king of Purusha, who worshipped himself, imitated Krishna. One should also see the description of Shrigala Vasudeva, the king of Karavirapura, found in Harivamsha, chapters 9900 or 2.44 to 45. So elaborate description, because Simha Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is Simha Guru. Simha means lion. A lion cannot tolerate jackal. His father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he always prayed to Lord Jagannath, I want such a glorious son who is going to completely refute the Mayavad philosophy. Those times, there were so many miscreants or sinful people who used to call themselves God. Bhaktivinoda Thakur he was a district magistrate. He used to lock them in the jail. And he used to beat them and say, if you're God, okay, free yourself. But then he wanted, I want a son who is going to completely refute. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written so many philosophies against such Mayavadis. And he got a wonderful son who is Nayana Manjari of the eternal world, Nayana Manjari, who also refuted such Mayavadis. That is why whenever such topic comes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives an elaborate description. There are sinful people to cheat innocence. Innocent people who have taken up chanting, who have taken up devotional service, they don't know what is the black face behind such cheaters. On the name of spirituality, people are cheating. You should be very, very careful with them. Especially Srila Prabhupada says, especially in Vrindavan, you have many cheaters, many. They'll call themselves big preachers. They will call themselves Bhagavad Kathakars. We will not even be aware what is happening in their ashram. So that is why one has to be very, very careful, especially when a person is progressing and the progress is getting initiated, getting progressed slowly, when a person is progressing, at that time, Maya tests, lot of tests will be there. Shurasya dhara, it is like walking on the sword, lot of tests will be there. That is the time one has to be very careful. Hold the hand of your Guru, because it is only your Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru who can take you slowly in that path. Even the Shiksha Guru also holds the hand of his Shiksha Guru. In this way, even Diksha Guru holds the hand of Srila Prabhupada. That is how one has to progress. Not just do what comes in the mind. That is Shreyas. That is prayers. When a person does what comes in the mind, that is prayers. When the person does what is being told, that is Shreyas. So we have to be very careful. Especially now we are going to start the TT kitchen. Today I invited those who are there for today's service. On the Shera day, we are going to inaugurate the cooking over there. Tomorrow will be the shifting. Today, some filling, cleaning, whatever is required. And then for 1 week after the Shera, most of the time I'll be coming and seeing how the cooking is happening. Though you all are experts in cooking in the house, but in the temple, cooking and handling the things, one has to be very, very careful. And you have to give nice time and space. Don't plan anything after the cooking thing. Or after cooking, I'll run to the office. No, give that day whole to the Lord. We don't know how much time will take. Because in your hurry, whatever that is happening in our kitchen, There you can do whatever comes. But in DT kitchen, you have to give a good time, especially for cleaning. It's not that I cleaned, no. How I have cleaned, that is also very important. 1 week observation will be there, and I'll be observing at least for 1 week or maybe 15 days. If you are in a hurry, if you have no time, you can be very free to tell me that Mataji, please don't include me in the service. If you want to give good time, then you should give time, and you should be careful in doing the service. There should not be another agenda while you are cooking. Your phone calls, whatever it may be, that all phones has to be kept outside. No attending phones, because if the mind is in your office, then you cannot do the seva. You can give the task to somebody else to attend the phones, because if your mind is not engrossed in the cooking, Krishna is not going to accept it. If our mind is there somewhere else, then it is going to affect the cooking. While cutting, talking something, no. So DT kitchen service is very important. It is as important as Pujari service. Even while doing puja, you cannot attend some phone calls. So it is same thing. DT worship, this is feeding Krishna. While feeding Krishna, we should be engrossed, like how Yashoda Mata, when she is making butter for Krishna, she's so engrossed that she forgot to wake up Krishna. That is how Dambandhan Leela starts. So if we have so much of agendas in our mind, you can be very free to tell me, Mataji, once I retire from my all offices, I will join the DT worship or whatever personal service we are doing for Krishna. But if you are fortunate to get the service, then please be engrossed. So on Dashara day, because it is Sripad Madhvacharya's appearance, Aruna Mataji, please call all the initiated, first initiated, second initiated, all the devotees should come. I know you are in Nasik, but you can give the call to one. And then maybe more items will be cooked, and some of the norms of DT kitchen will be given. Don't consider that to be another kitchen of yours. In your house, you may do all hari bari, everything. In the DT kitchen, especially, left hand is not used for cooking. Put anything from the left hand, put masala from the left hand, right hand. No, we have to be very careful about it. That is what is Krishna consciousness, to be careful about what we are doing. Hare Krishna. Any doubts? No doubts. Okay. Today, tomorrow, and the after tomorrow will be the last days of Yakya, Ashtami, Navami, and Dashera. That is Harivayu Stuti Yakya. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I was on. Mataji, regarding this Jackal, his name, the name is given Malika. Can he be the Parshad of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that he is doing this just to teach us something? Can he be a Parshad?
Who?
The Jackal Malika in Radhadesh.
Can be also, cannot be also. It has not been mentioned.
No, not mentioned, but he can be, na? Because he's in the Leela of this thing. Lord.
Yes, can be.
Yeah. And Mataji, regarding the rounds, 2-3 practical questions, short ones, just your answer. When we are doing this round, you said not to speak in between. Can we do an action in between? Like suppose someone comes in the room and you tell him that, yeah, it's a
that
practical.
Is right, I said, do it. Yeah, practical, what to do?
Hey, example, I'll tell you. So
we can do that, but that is also as good as talking one.
Yeah, I was coming to that only. That when someone comes in the room and you want him to go out, you tell with your hand go. But then when you're telling and making a gesture of telling him to go away, you are speaking in your mind, because unless those words are spoken, the gesture will not.
What you said is right. What you told is right.
Yeah. And next scenario is, Mataji, very important for all. I mean, at least for me to learn. Of course, speaking in between, it is never done, because I've seen that in life there are certain things which we do by of the order of Krishna, even unknowingly, like we may not have learned or we may have missed hearing it from you, but we do it because I don't know how it comes on its own. So speaking though I never do in between, but I wanted to know that whether we can, we are doing sitting and chanting, whether we can get up in between. I wanted to know that to continue the chanting because of the
Yeah, we
legs
can do
issue.
that. Suppose the legs are becoming
Yeah,
numb.
Yeah,
We can do that. Our whole concentration should be in Harinam. So once you see the Harinam,
Mhm.
once you are practicing seeing Harinam, so while chanting, actually the focus should be in Harinam. Even if you are opening the eyes also, you should see Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Yeah,
Hare.
that is there always.
That practice, if you do while chanting, while walking, as much as possible, do it alone. Alone means a secluded place among the devotees. That is also known as secluded place only. But then among the devotees only, if you start gossiping, attending the phone and all, then that is not counted. If it is suppose unavoidable, then do it again. This practice, if we start giving to ourselves, that's a sort of punishment actually. Then we will, next time we will not do that. We can complete the round, attend the phone, again go back to the round.
Next question, Mataji. Next scenario, Mataji, is that one or two more scenarios to think immediately. Another scenario is, Mataji, is that I have completed my 16th round. I have doing my 18th round, 19th round, and now I get a call and it's important. It may be material or spiritual. Then I take it. Then is it necessary to complete? Can I continue the round because I've already completed my 16 minimum rounds?
You can continue a round.
No, I
You
don't
can
want to
continue a round, but
don't
now
want to
you are not going to count it as your prescribed rounds. No?
No,
You already completed.
but I don't want to continue. One scenario is that you are in your 13th round and you get a call and you talk and then you don't count it and you do it again. And the other scenario is the
You have finished it.
The other scenario is the branch number B, where you have already completed 16 round and you are in the 18th round and then you get a call. Then is it necessary to complete that round after you have completed your 16th?
That's I said, na, unavoidable phone calls can be taken even in between the rounds or after the rounds. Unavoidable.
हाँ तो मेरा 16 हो गया है ना, तो मेरे को उसको अभी फोन आ गया, I have to go immediately.
हाँ तो ठीक है ना, करिए ना, इन्हीं वो प्रिस्क्राइब राउंड में काउंट तो होगा नहीं.
नहीं, पर मुझे नहीं करना है वो कंप्लीट, तो
ठीक है ना, मत करिए.
पूछ रहा हूँ आपसे, एडवाइस पूछ रहा हूँ माताजी. The various practical scenarios.
See, after your prescribed rounds, you are just doing some extra rounds, right? In that extra rounds, in between some phone call came, unavoidable, you had taken that. Now, you may take it as an 18th round, or you may not take, because anyhow in your prescribed round, this is not there. Suppose you have taken a prana of doing 24 rounds. You have to do it again.
हाँ, पर वो 18 राउंड मुझे कंप्लीट नहीं करना है क्योंकि मेरे को नीचे जाना है अर्जेंट.
हाँ तो नहीं जाना है तो that you can wind up. You can wind it up.
Wind up. And the last scenario is, Mataji, that I do 4 rounds. I want to do the 5th one, or I'm doing 6th round and I want to do the 7th one. At what round is it? At what round number is it appropriate to take a
Stop.
break? Take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
Haan. So Mahanidhi Goswami Maharaj very nicely writes, don't just abruptly stop your rounds. 4 round is one granthi. One granthi means one hug to Krishna. After every 4 rounds, you can give a break.
Okay, got it.
After every 4 rounds, 1 hug, 2 hug, 3 hug, 4 hug. That is a hug to Krishna. Radha Krishna comes and sits. Your guru's phone can be attended, and that doesn't come as a interruption. That only in that circumstance, that is the only phone call which is not considered as a disturbance. So that time you don't have to do again the round. If your guru's call come, don't think that, oh, guru's call coming. Oh, if I pick up, then you should pick up, because your guru is not going to speak something nonsense to you. Only in that scenario. Other all calls unavoidable, take it, but redo the rounds. If the prescribed round, in between the prescribed round, it comes. After the prescribed rounds, unavoidable condition, do it. You don't have to do it again, because anyhow you are not going to count it. As much as possible, Give time, space while you're chanting. Radha Krishna comes and sits.
So if
Just
the-
don't do mechanical round. Bas.
if the Guru calls comes in between, we take it, and then after completing the call, can we continue with that round and still count it?
Yes, that only I'm saying. No? You should count it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So this is the same thing what you have taught us before. That lecture is going on, and Prabhupada ji was teaching, and all Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was teaching, and then the parda opened, all ran away, but Prabhupada ji was still sitting over there. So it's the same thing. Guru is given more importance than Krishna.
Scriptures speak about that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.